Welcome everyone to another show of RenovatingRichesRadio.com. This is the continuation of our interview with Tom here. If you haven't heard the first part, I highly suggest you go back and listen to last week's episode because, Tom talks about from when he was born all the way to acquiring a portfolio of 400 plus
some change
houses in the Houston market. And it's amazing. You listen to that part first and then come back and listen to the rest of the story where Tom now is going to talk about what ILS is and all the different companies he's built. So let's take it from where we left last time. Tom, thanks again for being here this week. So last time you were telling us that you and Melissa were able to build a 400 plus house portfolio.
Well, not house, but units.
Oh, units.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
yeah. So you got some apartments there, I guess?
We did use apartments to do that. I think probably houses made up maybe 70 or 80 of those units, and then apartment complexes made up the rest.
Which are sweet.
Yes.
Everybody loves the apartment business because of how you can scale. So you're rolling, What happened next? You mastered the wholesaling, you mastered the landlording.
Acquisitions pretty much, because and raising private money.
That's the key. That was the key to the whole thing. If I was good at one thing, if I am good at one thing, it's raising capital. Mm-hmm. It's raising capital. And that gave me the fuel to go into the apartments. We had just done houses, then we did a couple of little fiveplexes, and I'm like, okay, well, this wasn't so scary. Mm-hmm. Then the next thing we did a 36 unit. Now that was scary, Back then it was really scary jumping up to that. And then after it was done, I'm like, man, that was easy. So then a couple of months later, we bought a 78 unit. A couple of months later, we bought a 72 unit. We closed a commercial property every 48 days.
Wow.
For 2 years.
Oh. How are you finding, back then, we're still right after the bus.
Now this is 2011 and 12.
Okay.
We're up to 2011 and 12
the market
now.
is recovering now.
The single-family market was recovering.
Right.
But what people don't understand is multifamily and single-family don't run together.
No, they're
when you're looking at
opposites.
charts, they're not going to run exactly together, ups and downs. So single-family crashed in, let's say, 2008. Mm-hmm. Multifamily didn't crash, in my opinion, until about 2010 to 11.
Okay.
So 2 to 3 years behind it. So we really had rode that single family crash and bought a lot of rentals in the trough, right? Mm-hmm. But then we saw this apartment trough, so we started buying apartments, and that was a way to scale, which is the word you just used.
Yep.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to my goal net worth with just houses.
Yeah,
it would just be
hard.
Mathematically.
It is hard.
Hard to collect 400 houses.
A lot of work.
But you collect 80 houses, and at the same time, you're collecting a bunch of apartments too. Mm-hmm. That's doable, right? So over a 4-year period, we were able to get to about 425 units between the houses and apartments.
What came next?
What came next? Managing those apartments and fixing them up. Most of these, I buy distressed assets. Mm-hmm. I don't like
pretty house business.
Yeah, I'm not a pretty apartment person either. So I'm going to buy something that's 30% occupied or
does it have rats?
60%
no,
occupied.
Okay, I don't want it.
But y'all know when you buy an ugly house, it doesn't pay you anything.
Right.
Until it's fixed up and either sold or rented, right?
Correct.
Well, it's the same thing with apartments. So my wife, at one point, we probably had 5 apartment complexes that I'd bought, just in rapid succession. Mm-hmm. And we're fixing on them. We got crews on them. We're trying to get them fixed up and get them leased and get them filled up. And I'm fixing to close on the next one. And she asks me this question, and I'll never forget this question. She says, how many unprofitable properties does one couple need? Right? Because these things are what I now refer to as alligators, right? They're eating us every month. They cost us more than they're bringing in. So and my answer to her was, all of them we can finance. I want all of them we can finance because the window is closing. and we won't be able to get these much longer. And she did not understand at the time, but I understood market cycles. And that 2-year period, we bought an enormous amount of property. Like I say, we closed a deal every 48 days. You would do the math on that. That's about 24 deals in a 2-year period. And after that, in 2013, we closed 2 deals.
So it slowed down.
It just dried completely.
And we haven't closed a commercial deal since.
Wow.
Yeah, the market just...
The market just kept going up and up and up.
it's
And
Now you got people overpaying for stuff.
And people started overpaying, and I said, I'm out. I've got enough. We're good. I don't ever have to buy another property as long as I live if I don't want to.
Right.
I do want to,
It's
but
in
I
your
don't
DNA
have
now.
to. So that gives you freedom to sit back and say, I'm only going to buy if it makes sense. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to be out. So we just rode for a while, just riding what we already had and making sure that it was doing the best it could. And then by 2016, people were just offering us stupid prices to buy our commercial assets. So of course we let them, right? So I mean, you're going to offer me a stupid number, I'm going to let you do that. So 2016 and 17, we pretty much spent those 2 years just selling commercial assets and just collecting the cash. Well, that created another issue, right? So by then, we've already got a wholesaling company, which I still have to this day, more for my own acquisition purposes than anything. But over the last few years, we've been selling to other people. Again, they're willing to pay more than I am, so I'm letting them have those deals. We've built a real estate property management company because I needed management for my own assets and couldn't find management that I was happy with, third party. Lord knows I wish I could, because that's the one company I wish I didn't have to have.
Right. Yeah, because you're dealing with headaches.
Well, I'm not, but my staff is. But
they still bring it to you at the end of the day. Say, this is what happened today.
I still probably put 3 or 4 hours a week into that company. That I would
that's
like to have back.
That's one business, just like psychologists and psychiatrists. You know, you're coming to work to get bombarded with problems, and you better like it. If not,
I have a phenomenal team. They are amazing. We don't do a lot of third-party management for other people. Just a close circle of friends, family, colleagues, etc. And we only manage in Galveston County, so we don't even leave the county lines. But so we've got that built. We've got the acquisition company. And then we start collecting all this cash from selling these apartment complexes, right? And we'd never had cash by then, you know?
Yeah,
you can relate if you're accumulating property.
Look,
your net worth can be going up, but you still not have cash,
you don't see the money every day.
I think we've had all the way to $7 million worth of properties. And you look at our bank accounts, you probably laugh at it.
No, I wouldn't, because I understand. So for the first time, you can imagine you're selling off all these apartment complexes. You know, this one brought 3.2, this one brought, whatever, and all of a sudden you're bringing in these millions, and we're paying our investors and paying our lenders off and going, whoa, we've actually got money left over.
Right.
Because we had a lot of equity in these things. And we didn't have to give away equity when we bought them. We didn't give away a lot of our equity. So we're cashing in now, and we had another issue. This created another issue, which one of you brought up in the last show. We were putting a lot of money back into our investors' hands, and they didn't like that.
Yeah, because they're like, man, what do I do with this money
Exactly.
now?
They're like, whoa, wait a minute. We're used to you paying us. On a monthly basis or quarterly or whatever.
Yeah, their money was working for them.
Their money was working, and they were happy with us because Melissa never missed a check, And all of a sudden, we hand them their cash back, and now they've got an issue. They've got cash, no return, and they don't know what to do with it.
And they don't trust anybody else, right?
And they don't trust anybody else because they've been with us for so long. So now we've got millions and millions of dollars sitting there. We've got a few bucks sitting here. And I said, what are we going to do with this money? I can't buy houses because they're too expensive. I can't buy apartments. They're too expensive. I'm like, what are we going to do with it? So
There's
we
people watching.
invented.
There's people watching HGTV. They
Yes.
want to flip houses.
So
This is what Ricardo calls rich people's problems.
Yes.
So I came up with this brainchild of starting a lending company.
That's right.
For real estate investors.
Right.
I said, I already know the market. I already know real estate. I already know a lot of the real estate investors, particularly in the Houston market. I could make phone calls and probably get this money to work pretty quick. Yeah, you need any money? Hey, you got any deals? You need any money? I mean, that's how we marketed it for the first year. It was just me pounding the phone, calling my buddies, saying, "Hey, what do you got coming up that you need capital for?" And they're like, "You serious?" Boom. I was putting money on the street. So I called a good friend of mine and one of my biggest investors that we had put a lot of money back in his hands. And I said, we should start this together, because we got to talking one day and I was doing some lending on my own. Obviously, he had been doing lending on his own for 20 years. And he says, man, I hate dealing with the investors. I don't understand these people.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm looking at when they're sending me this stuff. And I'm like, man, that's the part I'm good at. That's the part I understand. You know what I don't like? I don't like reading freaking title policies and loan docs and all that office crap. He's just like, oh, I love being in an office.
Like,
and I'm like,
marriage made in heaven.
I'm like, Donald, we need to work together.
Bingo.
So we opened this little company. I handled the marketing and the underwriting. He handled everything else.
Okay.
And that was 5 years ago now.
Okay.
That we started that.
So ILS has been in business for 5 years now.
Yes.
I started hearing about ILS maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years ago.
We just started marketing and actually advertising about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Before that, it was just all word of mouth. I just would.
Oh, you knew the buyers.
Yeah, I knew the guys that needed the money, but
It took Tom 3 years to go through his Rolodex.
it did. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's funny.
Let me see who I'm going to load out today.
I'm done. Now what do? Now we start marketing for new people.
Now we actually start marketing. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. That is totally true. Last year, from all indications, obviously we don't know everybody and everything about the Houston market, but we think we know a lot. We believe we're the largest provider of real estate investor funds in Houston.
Okay.
We think we passed our biggest competitor last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And competition is healthy,
It's very healthy. Yes.
As a matter of fact, the pie is so big.
Yeah, it's
nobody
enormous.
can eat the whole cake.
Yeah.
There's no
Look,
way.
and there's new investors, new people that want to flip houses
Every
coming into the
day.
market like every day. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
We got, like Ricardo said, the HGTV people and Flip Flop, all these cable TV shows that are just feeding that frenzy, and you see it out in the street. People come like, hey, I want to flip houses, and everybody wants to become either a wholesaler or flip houses because they've been watching these shows for years and years, and that starts working in their brain until they say, you know what, I want to try it.
So what do you all do at ILS? Like, who is your typical client?
Yeah, so when we started Investor Loan Source, I decided that I wanted this to be a different kind of company. I didn't think we needed just another hard money lending company.
Right.
The traditional hard money lending company, no offense to all my friends that are hard money lenders, but they all do it exactly the same. They all have the same product.
What's
if you boil
different
it
from
down,
this guy to that guy?
nothing. And there's a
the
reason.
inspector.
No, the
No.
guy selling the loan, maybe,
But here's why. It's not their fault. Let me give you a little insider baseball.
Right.
Okay? The way most hard money lending companies work is somebody decides to open an office. They use some of their own capital usually. Maybe they'll raise a little bit as well, start a little fund, and then they'll go to a bank or several banks and they'll get bank lines of credit to recollateralize against those notes. Okay? That's just how it's done. But the problem is when you use that model, you have to create loan products that the bank will okay.
Yes.
Okay? So if you wonder why every hard money lender on the planet has the same freaking product, and there is no difference between them when you boil it all down except for the way they market it, it's because they're all going to the same source for the capital,
Right.
which is the banks. Okay? I didn't want to do that, and we haven't done that. Last year, Investor Loan Source closed just under $80 million in loans. 79.6 to be exact. And we don't have one penny of bank money.
It's all private.
So that
All
gives you
private.
a lot of flexibility.
That's the key. You know, would it be easier if I gave in and did what everybody else does? Hell yes.
Yeah, that's the easier route.
That would be the easier route, believe me, because we're always stepping and fetching, trying to find more capital so that we can remain independent and we can do loans that are outside of the bank credit box.
Yeah.
Right. So you ask, what do? We will fund any real estate transaction that makes sense. That's it.
Regardless
That's our box.
regardless of area, regardless of price range, regardless of if it's going to be a rental or not. I mean, you can
Regardless
literally
of credit, regardless of income, we could keep going.
Wrappable.
Regardless, if the deal makes sense, we're going to do it. That's Investor Loan Source. So it's unique, it's very different, and I think it's the reason, it was the separator that allowed us in a very crowded Houston market. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a hard money lender on every corner in Houston.
Yeah, it's like, and you got a lot of little private lenders now.
Right.
That are marketing themselves.
In addition to it, yes.
There aren't enough colors for logos left.
No, there is not. That's why we were stuck with black, because that was the only one left.
It's like,
funny.
It's like you want to open a hard money in Houston and use orange, it's taken. Purple, taken. Green, blue, taken.
Yeah.
So you got to come up with a.
So how do you penetrate such a crowded marketplace as a new lending company and differentiate yourself? And not only that, but within your fourth year, become the largest hard money lender in Houston.
Yeah, you give out the products that your investor is looking for.
That's right.
Not the one
I didn't just copy what all my competitors had.
Right.
Not only that, but one thing that it's very common, and I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with this, is that many investors end up being investors by accident. Either they were laid off or something. So that automatically rules them from a W-2 job, because it's happened. You know, you see an investor.
Happened to me.
Exactly. That's what I'm pretty sure that you will agree with what I'm saying. Investors come and say, "Hey, I want to buy a house to flip, but I just got laid off, so I don't have a W-2 job.
Yeah.
My credit is not in the best situation because, again, I got laid off." So, but they have the energy, they have the drive.
They got a deal on their hands.
They got their deal in hands.
That's the key. I don't care about their energy or drive, but if they got a deal in their hand, I'm all ears, right?
Yeah. So again, a lot of these people hit the wall with hard money because they can't get approved because there's no showing of income or W-2s or whatnot,
or an appraisal. I don't know. Are you guys doing appraisals on properties?
We do. Okay. Yeah, but, you know, it boils down to exactly what you were just saying. When I got into real estate, I went and saw a couple of hard money lenders, and one of them, I will never forget our conversation. Now we're buddies.
Yeah.
But back then, I was sitting on this side of his desk, and he's like, "There's no way I can lend to you."
Right.
There's no way I could lend to you, and I still bug him about that and poke him with that every once in a while.
You're probably like, "You think I can use some of your money now?"
Yeah. Because the idea is hard money. Why is it called hard money? Hard money.
It's hard to make the payments.
Well, the interest is higher.
See, that's what everybody thinks, right. And that's not true. Hard money got its name. Its actual name is hard asset-based lending. Hard asset-based lending, meaning it was based on the asset, not on the person. So there's asset-based lending and then there's credit-based lending. Banks do credit-based lending. Hard money lenders used to do asset-based lending. Yes. But then when the hard money lenders decided to start going to the banks and the banks caught wind of how much they could make, recollateralizing notes with hard money lenders, When those two got tied together, now hard money is no longer really hard money, if we're being honest about it.
Yep, it isn't.
It's now quasi credit-based lending because they have started tying the hard money lender with the bank. And I didn't qualify, but you know what? I turned out okay as a real estate investor.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So does it mean if somebody comes to you with bad credit that they can't be a real estate investor?
No.
Of course not.
No.
It just means you're not going to be able to go to most guys
look,
because they want to recollateralize.
Credit can be fixed.
Yep.
Bad credit is temporary.
Yep.
Just because you got bad credit today doesn't mean you're not going to have excellent credit in a year or maybe 6 months.
Yep.
I mean, we got friends that's what they do for a living is fix other people's credits.
Yeah.
And then when you look at their credit, do you really know the history of that person? It depends on how good the guy is that's fixing up that credit, right?
So in addition to credit, then you've got income, right? Well, how many real estate investors have income?
That's hard, man.
You know,
we don't.
Just a few years ago, my wife and I, we bank with one of the major banks, and we sent our stuff to the bank because we wanted to refinance the house we live in. So we don't want much money. It was a 30% LTV, right? That's all we want, 30% of what the house is worth. And we sent them our stuff. Our tax return that year was small. It was only about 170 pages. And
Schedule
now
C.
it's worse. But the bank came back to us after 30 days and said, guys, we don't even understand your tax return.
Right.
We're going to deny the loan because we don't even know how you make money.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
That happened to me.
My net worth is this, that, and they're just like, yeah, we know everything looks good,
It's too
but
confusing.
man, those tax returns, we just don't understand.
My
So-
banker told me your net worth is around $2 million. My underwriter just don't understand your deal.
Yeah,
And
see?
and I had like 12 properties we were trying to refi at the time.
Yep.
So I completely understand.
So
your
that's why
position.
we, honestly, I had a real soft spot for being able to do loans that other
People
lenders
can't,
couldn't. Yeah. So we can do fix and flip loans. It doesn't matter. What's your credit? What's your income? What's your net worth?
Of course,
any
if your
those
credit
things.
is good and you got a little bit of money and maybe you have good income, it helps.
Well,
right?
what it'll do is it won't help you get the loan. You get the loan anyway if it's a good deal, but what it'll do is give you the loan at a better interest rate, right? So if somebody does have some money and some credit and some experience, we can reward them with lower interest rates.
Right.
Right?
The risk is lower.
Because the risk is lower, right. Rental loans, that's something we brought to the market before it even became popular. 5 years now, about 4.5. We've been writing rental loans, 30-year, 20-year. So guys that are building rental portfolios, like I did, have a product, because I didn't have a product for long term. And then we created about 4 years ago the wrappable loan,
Right.
which is totally unique to the marketplace because it doesn't have a due on sale clause in it. And we write that loan knowing full well that the investor is going to sell that house on owner financing and wrap that loan. So we provide the underlying financing for them to do that. Commercial loans, I love commercial properties, strip centers, office buildings, ground up development. We'll do any of those things. We did a $4 million loan to rehab a brewery. We did a $2 million loan to take an old golf course and country club and completely redevelop it into waterfront lots.
Repurposing.
Yeah. So we'll do any of those types of loans if they make sense and if the investor has the wherewithal to pull it off.
Right.
That's the key. We're not going to let somebody get over their skis too far.
Right.
Yeah,
you're going to
you don't want them to get. Yeah, you don't want them to.
Yeah.
Do a face plant. But
I like that.
But if they have the wherewithal to do that deal and see it through to completion and fruition, and the deal makes sense, we're going to fund it. It's that simple. We're currently in 8 states.
Okay, what states?
Geez, you're gonna make me name them.
What are the main ones?
We are in Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Virginia, Florida,
Yes.
and
Florida.
I'm missing one.
Man, we got deals in
will,
Florida.
We will also be in Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee within the next 60 days.
Okay.
So pretty much that Ohio to Florida, and from the Carolinas to Texas will be.
All the
We'll
southeastern
be in,
quarter.
we'll be in within the next 60 days if we're not already there. You can go to our website and see which states are highlighted on our website. As of today, it's only showing Ohio and Texas, but yesterday we got the approval in 6 more states.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And every couple of months, we're just going to add another 4 or 5. It's a lot of work on the back end for our tech guys, but those states will be lighting up green on our map on our website here pretty directly.
That's pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Tom, 2 things. Someone's listening, has capital, want to get in touch with you. What's the best way to get a hold of you for
Just-
people that have capital and
Sure.
they want to talk to you?
Sure, they can email me. That's the easiest way. It's really the only way to get a hold of me directly. And that email address is tom@ils.cash.
And we're gonna have that on the notes if you want to click down and you'll see it. Now, for people that need money, that they have a deal in their hands, it's very important. Please bring a deal. I mean, there's nothing that bothers a lender more than having someone take 1 hour of their time talking about getting a loan, and they don't have anything that they want the loan for. So bring a deal. But for those people, do they get with your team instead?
Yeah. So they just go to ils.cash, www.ils.cash, and we are the most transparent lending company I have seen for investor loans, because we have a good faith estimate for every single loan product published on our website for all the world to see. You can go to any other lender you want, and you're not going to find that. It's going to be, our rates are 10 to 15, or our points are 2 to 5. No, ours is set. It's in stone.
This is what it is.
This is what it is. We are so transparent. We don't want anybody to think that we're trying to, add something on them at the closing.
If you don't like it, do not come bother.
Yeah. If you
Right?
don't like it, don't apply, right?
Exactly.
But if you do, you can just apply right on the website, put in your information, and boom, within 24 hours, you're gonna have somebody talking
And
to
actually,
you.
if you don't like their loans, just when you see Tom, just say, or one of his staff members, just say, "Man, I appreciate you being upfront about what you have. It doesn't apply for me. Thank you so much for not wasting my time." That's what you got to say to people like that.
It frustrates me that I go to websites to see what other lenders are
It's a
charging,
big-
and they won't tell you.
It's the gray cloud.
Until you apply, until you've wasted a bunch of time, you've sent them a bunch of stuff, and we just didn't want that. We didn't want that experience for our borrowers.
Especially in this business where things move so quick.
Time
fast.
is of the essence.
I mean,
fast.
if you're buying your own personal property, you got time to shop around for a loan. But when we're dealing with wholesaling and real estate investing, it needs to happen now, because there's 10 other people going after those deals.
Well, that's the difference with us. Is I built this company as a real estate investor.
Right.
So I know what real estate investors
Are
need.
looking for.
Yeah. I wasn't just some guy that decided he wanted to get into lending. I'm an investor myself.
Right.
So
with that, I think that's a very good closing right there. We want to thank Tom again. Thanks for having us in your new office, because they just moved into this office, and very well
Very good
located.
location. They're on the west side of Houston, towards Katy.
The energy corridor.
Yeah, energy corridor. Just make sure you stop by, say hi. Make sure you make an appointment. That way they're
How's
waiting
that
on you.
commute from Galveston, from Texas City?
I come early, I put the top down, and I'm just rolling up the road before the traffic gets bad. It's about an hour, no problem.
There you go.
No problem.
And I want to thank you again, Tom. Thanks for having us. For you watching or listening to us, remember to share, hit like, subscribe to our channel. So every time we have a new video, a new podcast, you'll get an alert. And share it with your friends and family. That's the only way we can grow the channel. And we're growing our YouTube channel. So thanks for all the subscribers. We just ask you to share it. That's the only way we can grow the what we're doing.
Right.
Anything else, Ricardo?
That's it, man. We appreciate you, Tom. Thank you so
absolutely.
much
Thanks for having me. It was
Thanks
fun.
again.
Yeah.
allowing us in your busy schedule. Guys, if you need money for your deals, just come talk to one of them. I guess Alex. Who else is?
Alex, Devlin. Well, I mean, we got a whole team. We have 28 employees,
Okay.
so I can't name them all.
All right, just ILS.cash. Go ahead and send them a message. Go ahead and fill out. I don't know. Do they have a form to fill out?
Yep.
Fill out the form. Make sure
They
you
can
put.
get pre-qualified. They can apply. You
They can
do
text
anything
also, right?
on the line.
I know they can text. What's that?
Yes, and we had some technical glitches with
Okay.
that.
All
yeah.
right.
It'll
So-
probably be solved by the time you watch this.
Yeah. So by the time you watch this, we might, if we get the technical texting issues resolved, we'll put it on the comments down below. That way, you just text them and they'll get back with you. So that being said, thank you very much. You'll have a great day. Bye.
Bye.